Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Money in the Bank with Frank. Today we have another guest, Alec, who is on the second leg of his internship with DBK Health, my side hustle outside of financial advising, where we're starting from the ground up and working with absolutely nothing and trying to figure out how to sell something. And I figured it'd be a good opportunity to catch up on his first internship with anybody out of high school. So, Alec, how are you? Good to see you again.
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. So, how's it been so far? You've got a couple of hats you're wearing. You're doing some manual labor in a warehouse, and you're doing a little bit of side work here. Your first internship outside in the real world. What are you thinking? What do you got?
I'm learning a lot, especially about just running a business, because we're like doing something different every day.
Is it fun?
It's not fun. Most of it's not fun. Yeah, a lot of weird just things you just got to get done to run a business. So I've learned a lot about that, and then just finding your angles, which has been a big thing I've learned so far. So
tell me about the not fun stuff that we've been working on.
Just a lot of paperwork, a lot of printing, scanning documents, signing stuff, just looking out for emails, people, making a website, stuff like that. So
I'm really curious about some of the things that I've noticed are things that, as a old tech kind of person, we were used to doing. I worked as a Kelly temp. Kelly girl. Anyway, I worked as a temp, and we had just a ton of different things and tasks and to that effect, like printing, right?
Yeah.
And stapling and sorting and filling up printers on these enormous laser printers, breaking down boxes at different places, working as a teller in different places. And all of that stuff was, pre-college. So some things that I noticed that are different, and I realized that they're different because you probably never had to do them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So when I see the administrative task, hey, do me a favor, let's print out a bunch of this stuff and staple it. You did, but the staples are all over the place in different sides.
Yeah.
What was that? What was your thought on that?
Yeah, just purely I have never done it before. Just like school, we use a laptop for everything, so I've never had to print, scan stuff. It's just that was my first time doing it, so
yeah,
I wasn't a pro for sure. Definitely, I jammed the printer twice in the scanner, so yeah, definitely was not very helpful on that. But
how much fun is it just making random phone calls to different people to schedule appointments to check out office space? Tell me, what is a day in your mind of the tasks that I give you?
It is every day. I never know what's gonna happen, so it's whatever you give me. Being on the phone on hold for an hour and a half, that sucks, but
that's fun, right?
You do that every day, so I mean that's part of the business. And then calling random leasing offices, just doing the website. It's just certain things that you have no idea what, so you just have to learn on the go and just keep on adapting. So that's helped me a lot. I've learned a lot from it too.
Do you think you'll be even more productive next year when you get back out, knowing that what you're learning in school, where they tell you about all these exciting, intricate, different things, and then you realize that I have to process payroll.
Yeah.
I have to do this. I have to figure out that.
It showed me the real world for sure. The school was very just learning basic concepts, but this has showed me actually how to be a productive human, and especially because I have two other jobs besides this, so it's just always working, always multitasking. So it's definitely showed me how to be productive, how to actually, contribute to society. So it's a lot different from college.
How about your own personal fulfillment growth when it comes to the angles, realizing all of the stuff that you hear about? It'd be great to do all that stuff. It'd be so easy to build a business if I didn't have to do all this other stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely showed me a lot, especially the angles. You showed me, there's always an angle, there's always a way to get in, improve yourself, make someone do something for you besides you doing it, because doing all yourself is especially with your own business, is not impossible, but it's a lot of just dirty work that you just got to get done.
So when you say that, that makes me sound like I'm actually a taskmaster that doesn't want to do anything myself. So when you say have other people do stuff for you, you mean delegate.
Yeah.
For example,
delegate,
what's the point of you actually building the website when there's somebody else that knows how to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or designing a logo, which I still think that you're going to do individually. But ultimately, like, what kind of other tasks have you seen or have you done that you've delegated, and or other angles that you've seen?
Other angles. You're talking about with the internship that I've learned. From, I guess, like from DBK Health, when it came from just finding people to speak, finding people to make, like what you said, make the website for you because they can do it better than you can, and it'll save you a bunch of time. Yeah, I guess.
And you also use your relationships, your experiences to find out how to get the best price, right? So you utilized your brother, who actually happens to know a thing or two about coding.
Yep, for sure.
And knowing how much it should cost, as opposed to just imagine someone of an older generation, not specifically me, because I've done quite a few websites or had other people do them. So I kind of have an idea and a handle on the cost of that. But can you imagine somebody else who's starting an idea, coming out of the box, just have their own couple shekels to rub together, and then having to find, I need to do a website. How easy would that be for somebody to just pencil whip you?
Yeah, they could definitely scam you on it because you have no idea how much it costs. So definitely knowing the market and knowing having like connections helps a lot. It gets stuff done a lot cheaper.
So who have you met and taken more seriously in life now that you've actually been in the real world and had this? Like, is there people that you were like, what do they do? Do they really work? Have you seen now? Have you done things that actually kind of tell me about that?
Yeah, especially I had no idea what you did before I started, so I've actually got a lot of respect for what you do, and like now I actually know like what it takes, and like just doing a lot of different things to improve yourself or make more money. So, and then also just an average like business person, like I just learned like what their day-to-day life looks like, because even with my dad, no idea like what he actually did, but just like from interning with you and like kind of talking to him, I learned like it's a lot of business calls, a lot of just like playing your angles, like making sure you're in the right spot. So I definitely learned like a lot of what the real business world is like. So it's been really enlightening.
Yeah. So the Peanut Gallery, you got some questions for him?
Yeah, dude. I was gonna say, do you have any feed for Frank?
Do you have any what?
Feedback for Frank.
Feedback for
the
Frank?
past. It's been a month, right? Or
It's been about a month, yeah, a little bit over a month.
or anything you want to tell him? Not. It doesn't have to be negative.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah. I appreciate everything you've taught me. I mean, it's a good learning lesson. Like, you don't really get a lot of internships where you actually learn a lot of, because most internships, I'm guessing, you're just doing busy work and like just kind of doing all the paperwork. But I've actually learned a lot and like learned how to be productive and like do my own thing, find my own path. So yeah, it's been helpful.
Go ahead. I apologize.
Oh, well, just last time we talked about what you wanted and how Frank really wanted this to help you. Well, you know, he has his own slant, seeing if you're going to be interested in what he does. But we also talked about what you want to do. And have you learned anything about yourself through the past month, about working professionally, about what you want to, where you want to be, or what spaces you want to exist in?
Yeah, 100%. So I've learned a lot that I want to find, like, I don't want to really go down like the, I don't know, MIS route. I'll see, but I'll just get the degree and see what happens with that. But I kind of want to find like a way to build my own thing, like my own either business or route where I work for myself, which I know is hard, but I have 3 years to kind of figure it out, and why not try before? So that's been my biggest like thing I learned, is I want to do something by myself where I can actually earn my own money and like have like that no cap on like what I can do, my potential. So I've definitely learned with that, especially with my brother too. So I've just kind of learned that I want to kind of do my own thing and find what's best for me, and not like what's the traditional like just get a 9-to-5 job right out of college. So, but yeah, that's still an option, but that's the biggest thing.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. For a vast majority of the people, I think that having that, especially if you've never done an internship, if you come in late in life and you become that nug, as they used to call it at the bigger firm that I worked at when I first started out of school, which was a new useless guy. Nug, nice. Anyway, so it definitely shaped values, and it was very important. And I highly recommend that anybody that is going to work in a standard field or is comfortable with a work-life balance, that, as a small business owner, I think you can see that it's a 24/7 job,
100%.
right? Overnight success is
Yeah,
4 years.
Yeah.
So, it takes a while to get there. So if you do want to have a work-life balance, if you did find your sweetheart and you do just want to learn something, then perhaps a regular job isn't bad. And I highly recommend that you try to get a job with the most white label company that you can straight out of school, and build yourself a cornerstone foundation for, that house that you're building for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But there's also, as you're learning, that there are other ways to run your life. And I think that it's only going to get more fascinating, maybe more complicated, but also a little more tools means more opportunity. So I think there will be amazing opportunities in your generation. Actually, literally, like the next couple of years when you graduate college, I think that you're going to see some stuff shake out in the technology world, and there'll be more tools that'll make it easier for people to potentially start amazing companies, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I've definitely, especially with AI, it's been a big thing. Been learning a lot with that with my brother over the summer. So that's like a big avenue that I want to just look into, see if I can actually monetize it, figure it out.
He's already learning words. You're already learning great words like monetize.
Yeah.
And don't do anything without a reason, right?
Yeah, 100%. So that's been a big avenue I want to just see and like work with my brother on it, and then try to figure out like if I can make a business out of it. If not, just having that knowledge of it is always good, because it's going to be a big factor. I think in the next 3 years when I graduate, it's going to be a big thing. So at least knowing how to like understand how to use it with like LGBT and stuff like that is going to be very useful. So that's been a big thing I've learned.
We touched on many times, we touch on this, Frank, but just now we touched on finding what you want and then finding what you love. And it sounds like you found what you want. Finding what you love, though, is a whole nother beast. You have any thoughts on that, either of you?
Finding what you love. I don't really I haven't really found that connection between making money and doing what I love. So I still need to find that. But I've really found like what I want to do and like what I want to pursue. But I don't know about the love part, so I can't really give much input on that.
Wisdom, Frank? Anything? Does it even matter?
I could come at it from a couple of different angles. Like, I could be the absolute gem and say something to the effect of, don't worry, everything will be okay. But if you don't, failing to plan is planning to fail, right? And if you don't have a plan, someone will find a plan for you and plug you into their place. As far as finding something you like, I think the most important thing is always keep your eye open for something that you're going to love, but find something that you can tolerate.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of jobs, in a lot of careers, in a lot of learning moments, it's still the same game. You're still learning in your 20s and you try to earn in your 30s. Hey, jump the bar, try to get it a little earlier, but ultimately you're going to learn the same things. Like, you wake up, you're going to have a process, and it's all about process. It's the same thing with school. You wake up, you get ready, you go to class, you get your homework, you study for your homework, you do it, you get ready for the exams. It's a process. Everything's like a process, and that's the same thing. So find what you like and you can tolerate, and hopefully you'll find something you can love. But keep your eye open for what you can love, because, as we all know, love doesn't come around all the time, and it's just an emotion. Just find something that you can tolerate, you're good at, that you can earn on.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll find something that you love eventually.
Yeah.
Have you found what you like yet, Sohail?
Yeah, I found a person. But
How about a thing?
yeah, I think still I do love teaching. Like that is the one place I feel like I'm great at it, and it's the most fulfilling thing. I do love that, but I love so many things, Frank. I love cooking. I love crocheting. Now, my struggle has always been monetizing. That's the struggle. I have so many disparate hobbies, and it's the whole jack of all trades, master of none Do I put all my eggs in one basket? Do I have 3 side hustles? What do I do? I love many things. That's the problem, I think.
Can you imagine? This is going back to just me, of course, poking at you a little bit, but just remember the conversations that we had before about how hard life used to be, even 50, 60, 70, 100 years ago. And now how much easier it is that you can actually love all these things at once. You've had all that exposure and all that experience. So
Yeah,
I think
I'm not, I'm privileged to pursue those things,
Yeah. So I think that what's really interesting though is, and this is, advice that it's free advice, right? So you can take it or leave it. I've been told that before and I love it. But again, just like Alec, you can find something that you can tolerate that makes great money, and then you can do all the other stuff that you love
On the side.
Yeah. Right. And maybe one of those things you love will actually turn into something if you keep your eyes open and you find a way to monetize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the dream, right? And that's the dream we're sold, and it's possible, especially if you are one of those lucky people that can run on a couple hours of sleep, or you're willing to sacrifice those health elements or other elements. But I want to give my brother as a case study, because my brother just graduated, or I guess he's been graduated for 2 years. He got a degree in aerospace engineering, but decided he didn't want to make bombs and work in that industry. So he is a consultant with Deloitte for the city of New York. He does meaningful work in terms of he works on the rental assistance program in New York and consults with the city. Great pay, great benefits, but also not, working for corporations necessarily. He works for Deloitte, but he's not consulting with a corporation he doesn't care about. Mm-hmm. Work from home, gets to work out during the day, gets all these little perks, but does not feel fulfilled in his passions of photography and music, and between, life stuff, relationships, laundry, cooking, and the job, which is still a high demanding job in terms of hours. It seems less practical when you have, there's a certain dollar amount you get to where it's unless you really find, I know a lot of the past 10 years, this is going away, but people working in programming and, SQL and database stuff, which they barely work, they get a lot of money and they can do whatever they want. But it seems like the practicality of making a big paycheck and still having time to pursue what you love is, for now, a dream that I've yet to unlock.
Yeah. Well, the good news is you're young and you'll find it. You've done something amazing. You actually you moved, right? You started off in education and then it wasn't fulfilling for whatever reason, and you decided to pivot and you did something completely different, cleansed your palate, if you will, and now you can actually focus on, all the things that you may love and find it maybe in a different place. But that's, I just think that it's fascinating. You want to do something that actually pays the bills in your search for something more fulfilling.
Yeah. And it's honestly what goes back to, what do you want? And finding that question answering that question makes it a lot easier. Maybe I don't want this. Maybe I want to move back to Madrid, have a little shop, have a little cafe, and make some cool movies and music videos on the side and have a fulfilling life that way. Maybe I don't want to be Elon or whoever anymore.
Yeah. Hey, not for nothing. I was playing around with just fun little opportunities. We were watching a movie yesterday that actually was being filmed in a specific location in Myanmar, actually, if you guys have heard of that. And it was for a visit there, it looked pretty steep. There was a 5-star or a 5-star hotel there for about $80 a night. I'm pretty sure that I know you can probably find a nice little place to open up there. So tell me more about so now that you obviously started in the MIS section, and just as Sohel had brought up, his brother got a degree in something that he's not doing anything in that specific space, and that a degree in aerospace engineering was not cheap. Right?
Yeah,
we all know that.
100%.
But he probably could have gotten the same job with Deloitte if he had a different skill set that might have been less expensive. It just so happens that maybe he was good at that, and that's why he went that direction. So keep in mind that as you go back to your studies, and since you're starting your second year and have the ability to change and pivot,
Yeah.
make sure that you do, if you haven't found what you love, but you know that there's equivalencies in degrees with less work and or whatever, make sure that you take that into consideration. Because again, I'm still a firm believer, unless you're going into a specific industry that requires a specific skill set that you need to learn in school, a degree for the large rank and file is probably just showing that you can fulfill a task, right? It just shows that you can complete the mission,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, tell us what the next month holds before we have one more of these before you go back to school.
Yeah. Next month, just working still. So continue the internship, do my other jobs. I have a summer class I'm starting, so just gonna be busy, and then moving into my house in Norman, and then getting back on track with college and just starting up college life again. So it's gonna be a busy month, but it'll be fulfilling for sure. Gotta get that money, so yeah, need to pay rent, so it'll be worth
Well,
it.
thank you again for the catch up. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. And
I have some final closing questions.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sure.
They just popped into my mind, or I may or may not have looked at ChatGPT. But
not a client, but if OpenAI wants to be a sponsor, feel free to call us here at the Merge and send us some money.
So, firstly, have you done any networking or have you made any connections this past month?
I would say yes with people here. I've learned a lot through people, just talking to people by coming here, and just through other avenues I've done with my family, and I've met new people through that. So I've met some connections. So I've said I've met a good amount of connections. Not too much, but I've definitely met some new people that would actually help me out. So that's good.
And for Frank, how important is that? Should you be moving through life always looking for people that can help you?
So Amy, my wife, laughs at me a lot because she says that I collect relationships, and the vast majority of people, meet somebody and then, you work with them for a little while, then you get rid of them or you forget about them. And she laughs because I never forget about anybody and I never leave a man down. So yeah, I'm a firm believer that you should build your network and you should keep your friends close. You should keep your acquaintances close because everybody is in this together. Like, the proverb of we're all on the same plane, right? We are. We're all just trying to get through life. We have an expiration date and everybody wants to do something to help. And if you present yourself and you actually are the person that is willing to do work for a process that is going to help somebody else, they'll always take your call, right? They'll if you're just calling them because you're always asking for money, maybe they won't pick up the phone. But if you're always calling and checking in and seeing what somebody's up to, and when you have something that you think is worthwhile for them that you could make money on, they'll always take your call.
Yeah.
So
relationship maintenance is so difficult. It's like you have to include that as part of your things you have to do as you get older. I've noticed like maybe it's easier if you build into your day-to-day, like your work, building relationships, but if you're stuck inside for 9 hours, whatever, it's tough. I get one call on the way home. I get maybe one call on the way here. It's tough.
Yeah, but you have so many people cycling in and out of here that do so many different things. Those relationships should be super easy to keep.
Yeah, those
maintain
relationships
those.
are definitely, they grow stronger, but the other personal relationships and stuff,
Yeah, my
really goes down as you get older from the college age. It's like your circle gets tighter.
absolutely, and that is critical to point out to people that are just getting out of school, that are just starting their own business. those entry level people that you're working with, if you go to a larger firm, that class, if you will, of people that are new useless people that are all learning together, that is going to that has the potential to be like some of the best relationships you have for the rest of your life. You know, because you can judge just how hard they're working, how serious they are about it, and you know who's going to be successful no matter what in whatever industry, and just follow them. Just keep them as your friends, and you never know who's going to end up as an investment banker, who's going to end up as an attorney, who's going to end up as a doctor, who's going to end up in some esoteric field that they fell into that happens to be something that you're super interested in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a huge believer in nurturing those early relationships, because, you know, as you said, Sohail, unless you go to school for 18 years with somebody and they're forced in your life, and then when you go to college in your freshman year and you meet these people when you were brand new in the real world, having to do your own laundry and figure out your own way, those people are formative too. But once you leave school, you don't have that inherently built in where you're forced into a group of people that are strangers that are all surviving together. Once you get your first job, that class is probably the last class you're going to be forced to be in.
Yeah.
Unless you go into the military and keep getting fat. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
And then final question, Alec.
Yes.
You have any advice for a future Frank Kushner intern?
I would say just learn as much as you can, and just always be ready to do something new. Like, there's always something new to do. Just keep your mind open. Like, just work as hard as you can, and soak it all in. Like, take like everything he says, like all the lectures and like talks. Just soak it all in. Like, take the lesson from it, and kind of see, like, because it's always good to learn like what people do, because each person has something they do well. So Frank does connections really, really well. I learned that. And then another guy might be really good at like selling stuff or like coding. So just take what they do well and try to learn from it, and just try to implement that in your life, and then eventually you'll just become a better person. And that's my biggest thing.
I don't know so much about better person, but
Or just more productive.
You learned a lot of wisdom from Frank. Did you learn anything about money?
About money? I learned about like estate planning, stuff like that. We focused a lot on DBK health, so not a ton on financial planning, but I did learn, like, I listened on his calls with his clients, and I just learned that same thing with financial planning. You need to have a good relationship with your clients, because like they're trusting you with their assets, with their money. So
for you, personal finance wise,
yeah,
what is one thing you took away that you're always going to think back to? I'm going to do this with my money or my budgeting or saving.
I would say I would definitely invest, but I would be very I wouldn't do wild investing with like just like, oh, I saw something on TikTok or Instagram like this is gonna go up. Like that's just stupid. And I used to do that as a kid, and I was being dumb. So definitely invest safely, and I would say just make your money like work for you. Like
now we're talking.
Yeah, just
give
don't
your
just
cash
keep it
a job.
just don't keep it in a checking account and just let it just sit there, and then with inflation just lose money over time. So make sure you're putting your money where it can actually be useful for you. It's the biggest thing I learned.
I think my job here is through. Where's the mic? I want to drop it. Again, thanks for coming out. I really appreciate your help. And, as we have another 3 more years of internship, should you choose to continue, maybe we will start focusing more on financial as you get more responsible in your understanding of what's secret.
Yeah.
That's why we've been working, 99% on DBK Health, and you've heard the calls with some of the clients, but I didn't want you involved in that part of it because it's, again, another process that would take a lot of time.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to do that this year. So again, thanks so much for taking the opportunity and learning, because you learned the biggest thing, the first one, which is give your cash a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. With that, I just wanted to wrap it up and say thank you all for joining, and we'll have some more of this. Next time that we're on, we're going to talk about employee benefits as a whole as a financial advisor, and then maybe I'm going to start breaking out individually some stuff that I found that was fascinating, which is, stick around. We'll figure it out. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for watching The Merge. We've got a ton more stuff for you to watch on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere. Check us out.